Today we are doing another Why I Drive on a special Ferrari 360 Modena with a manual transmission, and this is probably the most immaculate one I've ever seen in my entire life. We're going to find out why the owner bought this car, what makes it so special. Let's find out why he drives it. So right here is the owner of this beautiful car. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Christian Smith.
And this is your 360 Modena. Now I got to ask, why do you drive this car?
The original car that my dad bought, the first Ferrari he ever owned, was a 360 Modena. It had a little bit more oomph to it. It had a body kit on it, so it had a lower bumper. It was slammed. It had some different wheels. So it was one of those cars that was a little older, had a lot more miles, but it was a 6-speed manual. And that was the first supercar I ever got to ride in, was that car. Now I found that car and I loved it. The new owner had put a lot more miles on it. There was a lot more work needing to be done, something about pulling the headers off, stuff like that. And it just sounded like so much work. And I was like, no, I want something clean, something I can get value out of later. So I looked at all these red ones and I loved the red ones, but at the end of the day, the yellow just pops so much better than a red one, doesn't it? I feel like it does pop more. And especially right now with Utah changing so many colors, like it's popping right now.
Yeah,
I think
great.
Yeah, it looks so good. So I think it's just one of those things where I love driving this, and it's honestly one of my favorite cars in the garage just because it's so different. It's not your usual red Ferrari. It's the Giallo Modena Ferrari on a 2000 360 Modena. And it's a 6-speed. Like, it's one of the funnest cars to drive. We can open the door right here, but I don't know. Factory 6-speed cars kind of are just one of the things that, let me be honest. You can swap one of these cars and it would still be so much fun. But being able to say mine is factory 6-speed, it's kind of a, not to say it's perk, but it's so much better than being like, oh, I swapped the whole thing and they originally had this and blah, blah, blah. So I think it's just so fun to have just the original car, and honestly, I haven't done anything to it.
Yeah,
like,
so this is how you bought it.
This is exactly how I got it. And there are some very fun things about this car and that I would say Ferrari owners probably would never expect on other Ferraris.
Like what?
There's actually, crazy enough, there's a spare tire up here. I gotta get in here and I gotta open this up.
Yeah, we gotta check this out. I've never heard of a spare tire on a Ferrari. Like, supercars never have spare tires, and nowadays they're not even having luggage spaces in like the SF90XX. So,
yeah, I was gonna say, I've never, when I bought the car, they never gave me any information saying, hey, this car comes with a spare tire and with all the stuff. They just said, hey, it's clean. So I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but there's a spare tire on this car. Oh my gosh. And then behind it, you have all the jack system and everything to get it off. So if you're ever stuck in the middle of a road, especially for other Ferrari owners, you'd probably be like, well, that's it. I have to wait for a tow truck and I have to have someone come get me. Well, on cars like this, where they have a random spare tire, I'm free. I get to go home. Yeah. And then I can figure everything out later.
I wonder if this has ever been used or if it's the original tire.
I wonder if it's the original tire as well, mostly because it's too good of condition to have ever been used. Not to mention with how low miles it is, and it's only had, I think I'm the third owner on it. It's only had a couple of uses, so I can't imagine a tire went bad ever. Yeah. But having an original tire and the original rim and everything is kind of unique. I would say it's kind of different.
Engine-wise, how much horsepower do these make?
So I'm thinking back, I want to say they made around 300 to 400, high threes, low fours. Yeah. I want to say it's a 3.6 liter V8, and it's naturally aspirated. And it's one of the first ones. Someone was telling me that the 355 Berlinetta was one of those ones where the valves did a different compression order. This one's different, so it sounds different. It's one of the first different sounding Ferraris in this lineup, especially in the year 2000. But it's one of those things where the engine is just it's so dialed, it's so perfect. And like, I feel like so many Ferraris nowadays, it's really hard to be a Ferrari owner in today's world of Ferrari, because every single Ferrari that comes out right now is, let's be honest, it's not very good. I think owning an old school Pininfarina Ferrari is kind of the way to go, especially when it comes to how the engine is, how it all shifts, the way it sounds. Yeah. It is just one of those cars where, like, if someone wanted to say, what's wrong with this car? You honestly can look at it and be like, I don't know, nothing. The tire pressure goes low every once in a while.
So would you recommend someone buy a 360?
100%. The 360 is such a versatile car. It's one of those things where buying one of these cars, number one, they're so much fun. They look amazing. And on top of that, like, they don't have a bunch of problems and they don't have a bunch of stuff to really go wrong. Like, you have the basics. You have headlights, taillights, an engine, the manual transmission, and then the steering rack, and then maybe the radio.
So
it's not like there's hybrid systems to go wrong and lights popping up on the dash. It doesn't have that.
So when you buy one of these, what should you look out for?
So there are a few things about these cars that you should look out for. Number one, these door handles, of course, they're like the pop outs, right? Yeah. So over time, those actuators that are inside, they kind of give way. And these little locks, this lock mechanism, when it hits this bolt, sometimes they can bounce over time and it won't necessarily lock down the right way. So that's one thing to look out for. Now, if it sounds good like that, if everything works fine, usually you're pretty safe. You also want to look out for the leather seats can give way really fast. That's one thing. If they're conditioned well, you'll know. Original leather stuff like here on the dash, some of these older Ferraris, a lot of this leather will start peeling up. Another big tell are actually these hubcaps right here. They're like from factory, like $500 each.
Oh my gosh.
But these little things have glass sitting over them, and if they get hit by a rock, they shatter like crazy.
Wow.
So seeing if you have these all kind of in good shape, these two are good. And then of course, that one's good. And then I think this one's cracked. Yeah, see, you can see it right here.
Yeah.
So like if that happens, if it's on all four, this car was driven hard. Someone was thrashing it, drifting it, doing some crazy stuff with it. Crazy enough, our 575 is like that. So we knew it was a little thrashed. Wow. So other than that, you can find a really clean one pretty easy. You just have to know what you're looking for. Now, I will say, my only gripe about this car, I wish this was yellow.
Really?
It's my only thing. I love the look of this, and I know it's perforated and everything for the exhaust and the engine bay. I just wish it was the same color.
Really? Because a lot of people actually have the paint match and they convert it to the challenge style.
I know, and I'm weird. I actually love the paint match. The challenge style looks so good. And it might just be my whole thing as if you're a Ferrari purist. I'm just such a purist. None of our Ferraris are different. They're all stock. But for whatever reason, like if you want to have a challenge look on your challenge car,
yeah,
go buy a challenge car. Otherwise, just drive it the way it's supposed to look.
So you think you're going to try and source one?
I would love to try and source one, but then it's not OEM.
Oh, so you're stuck in a rock.
Exactly. It's like, I want the numbers to match, but I want to be yellow. So it's one of the things where it's like, maybe I can just have someone put some plasti dip over it and we can paint it yellow. Then it would look terrible. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
No, never.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. It's not like people do that all the time.
Wow. You mind if we go for a ride in it?
Of course. Let's go.
All right. It's not too loud, nice and quiet. Oh, the door shuts nice.
Oh yeah.
That's solid. So we are in the 360 now. I gotta say, this is a nice interior. It's like, wow.
I'm gonna say, it's hard because people love the tan interior, that tan Ferrari interior. It's just the most unique interior, and it's kind of just the interior when it comes to Ferraris. I would say if you're wanting to play a safe bet with an old car, you should buy a black interior. The reason why is because you don't see the wear as bad. So if you're driving older cars and you want to go and collect an old school Ferrari, and tan interior will always smell the best, but the black interior beats it.
Is that a stock exhaust?
It is a stock exhaust. I don't know why, but it's just the valves and the way the valving is. It just has that kind of pitch, and it kind of just gives that kind of like scream.
Yeah.
So I thought the same thing, where I was like, there's no way that's stock. I've had multiple sources confirm it. I've had Ferrari confirm it themselves. They just said, yep, that's stock. Part of it might be broken, but it's stock.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, because I've been in an F430 recently and a 355. I did 2 interviews with them. I think this might be my favorite sounding one.
It sounds so good. And like I was saying before, the valves and however Ferrari designed the engines back then, they just changed the way they did it from the 355 to the 360. So it doesn't sound the same as a 355. That 355 has, not to call it throaty, but it's a little bit more of a baritone sound. Whereas this is a lot more, just a little bit more high pitched. It kind of brings out that Ferrari-esque sound.
That sounds incredible. Oh my gosh, I've never been in a 360, so this is a treat, because growing up, I think most of us on YouTube watched Doug DeMuro, and he had a 360.
Yeah, and Doug DeMuro's 360 was probably one of the nicest, cleanest cars, and he treated that car well, but his car, everyone knew it, and everyone was like, that is Doug DeMuro's 360. If I could go back and find that car, oh man.
You buy it?
Oh, I would. I mean, just because it was Doug's, yes.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably bring it to Doug and be like, here's your car back.
So overall, in the ownership of this car, has it been living up to your expectations?
Oh yeah. When I was riding with my dad back, I don't know, how old was I? 8, so probably close to 15 years ago. 17 years. I just remember this sound. I remember the way that the clinking was of the exhaust and just how everything sounded. I remember the wind. I remember all these little moments and things about it. And everything about this car is exactly the same as how it once was. And I just remember those little things. And I think it's one of those things about Ferrari or about a car that you had before. You remember it a certain way, and you remember it as, this is how I remember it as a little kid, or when I saw it this time. I think that those kinds of cars are the cars that people should go buy because of nostalgia. Yes, you can go and buy some crazy Aventador that's like $1 million, or a Revuelto, or some crazy LaFerrari. But why would you, when you can think about all those memories that you had in a car before and still enjoy it? And I think that's a big thing that I shout out to car owners who just love the cars that they drive. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a Nissan Juke or a Nissan Versa or a Toyota. If you're enjoying it, you enjoy it. That is your car.
That's exactly why I do Why I Drive, to showcase all of the people around the world driving their own special cars, what they like about them or what they don't like about them, and give an honest perspective and share their joy.
It's so true. Like that's a great reason to do it too, because everyone loves different cars for different reasons. There's a buddy of mine, he cannot understand why I own this car. And I love it, he doesn't. But at the same time, it's like, you like old JDM cars. I probably will never own an old JDM car. Although, to admit, I am looking at a 240SX in North Carolina. I might buy that. That's a good looking car.
Well, thank you so much for doing this Why I Drive. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And if you want to be in a Why I Drive, the link is in the description. You can apply, submit your car below. In the meantime, never ever quit your dreams. And remember, God loves you. See you in the next video.